It's been 2 weeks, which explains the bad haircut, or lack thereof. I should say 2 weeks from disassembling everything and putting everything back together, and turbo's coming out again. What had happened was I tightened up the, I couldn't quite get another bolt on the oil feed line, so I used one and stupidly I started it up. And you probably can't see it here, but all around here is like a 3-foot oil stain, because it lost like about a quart within 10 seconds of running. Oh wait, there it is. Oh yeah. So now I'm draining the oil just so I can start it again. No, I'm just kidding, I wouldn't do that. I'm draining the oil because I'm going to be putting some custom some custom dash 10 AN drain line and a dash 4 AN feed line on the turbo, and hopefully get these dash 4 AN fittings on the water part there, because that's the most annoying thing when taking the turbo out. So in the oil pan, there's a bolt, not a bolt, but a fitting. I turned autofocus off, that's why. Yeah, there's a fitting that drains into a rubber hose, and I'll show you that in a bit once that oil drains. I'm going to be replacing it with that. And by luck, I happen to have this 32mm wrench that I used from, I think my old BMW's cooling clutch fan. The oil's been drained and contained, so this is that fitting I was talking about. This goes from the turbo, can I find you? There we go. That turbo, there we go. That feed line there. Yeah, much better. That drain line, and then comes back down around behind the exhaust and to there. So I'm going to try to take that off right now and then put a fitting in its place, and then try to measure out how much AN line I need to, or steel braided hose rather, I need to make a custom oil drain for. That fitting came out with no effort at all, pretty much, which tells me when I put the new one in its spot, I'm not going to use a whole lot of force at all. So I'll put it in there, put a 90-degree fitting on there, and then kind of give the old crooked eyeball test to see how far up I need to get that hose. I bought like 5 feet of it, so that'll be plenty. I almost forgot. Since I'll be using a dash 10 AN fitting, and this bolt or fitting that comes from primedriven.com is 12 AN or dash 12 AN, so I needed this adapter which I got from eBay, both aluminum parts, very light, and I didn't want to install this while it was on the oil pan, because if I was going to turn this, I didn't want to over tighten this and then cause these threads to strip in the oil pan or have the oil pan threads strip. That would suck. I don't feel like replacing the oil pan right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put this 90-degree fitting on here and put it on the oil pan, and then see how much steel braided hose I need. Well, it's starting to rain. Hoping it's just a passing shower. Clouds don't look too bad. I'd like to get this done today. I got the hose all marked off where I need to get it done, so now I'm going to pull the turbo so I can see where the feed line needs to go, and then maybe I'll even do custom fittings for the water feed lines too, because they're a huge pain in the butt when you have to pull the turbo.
20 minutes later.
As you can see, the rain didn't let up at all, so I pushed the car back under the underhang a bit so I could continue to work. So this stud here, that one is why all this is happening. So you can see, I've got the bolt, the nut here. This one goes on just fine. That one will not go farther than that. So I can either clean up that stud or put new studs in here, or convert it to the way I want to convert it. Now fortunately I have these great stud pullers, and you can see these in action in the Jet Ski Rebuild series, which they just kind of go over the stud here, they lock on with like little rollers in there, and then you slowly with the wrench kind of pull them out, and the studs come out. Hopefully they won't break here. The studs came out no problem. Now that the studs are out, the next step is to remove this bolt. I believe it's 27 or 28mm. I used an 11/16 socket on this here Harbor Freight Impact, and it came right off with these. These things can get stuck on pretty good, so just be careful, you don't want to snap them. Measured out kind of the line I need to go from here to there, very short. I think it's like 4 inches, and I'll put a 90 fitting right in there as well. So it's time to take that off, make those hose fittings, and see how she fits. This fitting goes where that bolt went. This is another piece I got from primedriven.com. So that's going to live down in there, connect to a dash 4AN line, or hose rather, or fitting, which will go to a steel braided hose. Failure yet again. It's been a couple days, explains the haircut finally. So when I went to go tighten up that fitting, this part here just twisted up like a pretzel. So that's no good. And that one's just a bit twisted. I've had to take the whole contraption off yet again, because there's no way to tighten this when it's on the turbo. Finally it's all bolted back on. Now the real test. See if it fits. It's getting pretty dark out, so I don't have the best light, but I've had to shorten these hoses up. The drain one probably by about 3 or 4 inches, and then the feed by about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to try to test fit that again, and if all else fails, then I gotta try again tomorrow. Failure was always an option, and that's the direction I took with this one. So I ended up shortening up the hoses, as you can see, but I 45'd where I should have 90, I pizza'd where I should have french fried. I think you get the rest. This definitely would have needed to be a 90. When I got under the car, it would not connect at all. So now I'm going to right back where this all started. I've replaced the studs on the turbo, and I got some new bolts or nuts rather, that are going on that, and that should solve my problem. Turbo's back in, oil's back in. Not all the way connected, but water lines and oil lines are connected, hopefully. But now that the turbo's in, the nerve-wracking part comes, and I don't want to run it too long because I'm pretty low on coolant here. So just run it for a few seconds to see if there's any leaks. However, when you do swap the turbo out of a car, or you're replacing it or whatever, it's always a good idea to disable the ignition or fuel injection, which in this case it's just that 15 amp fuse there in the fuse box, and crank it a couple times to get the turbo primed. Also, with that little bit of priming, you'll be able to see if there's any type of major oil leaks right from the get-go. Most of the oil leaks aren't going to happen until there's real pressure behind it, so this time I've got cardboard and pan underneath the turbo feed. So I'm going to go ahead and start it now and check for leaks and shut it down quick. It started, I had it running for a few seconds, was running real crappy. I think that's probably because didn't plug in the O2 sensor. It's kind of a thing, and nothing's really connected back there. So even on a Gen 3 ECU, it doesn't idle the best, especially with the bigger cams and all that when all your intercooler piping is disconnected. So I'm going to give it another start now, let it run for maybe about 10-15 seconds, double check if I see any leaks, and then shut it down, drop it back on the ground, and get back to it. Open downpipe, so a little loud, but it's idling like a champ now that O2 sensor's plugged in. As you can see, there's nothing dripping. Finally, all back together, hopefully no leaks. And now it's time to run down to Walmart and grab some distilled water to put in there with the coolant. Next up for the night is to clean this messy garage. I gotta go pick up my jet ski tomorrow, so you can finally see part 4 of what's going on. So make sure to subscribe, because I think Sunday I'm gonna try to get the MR2 to the drag strip and see what it does, because I haven't brought this thing to the drag strip probably since 2009 or maybe 2010. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Remember, keep it foul.